So I guess this is the fridge. I don't know how to open it. Oh. Huh, doesn't smell too bad. He says it works. Little stove works. There should have been a heater under here, but the heater's gone. So it's just a big hole in the floor. And this, I don't even want to look behind it or under it. And there's some goodies back there. A whole bunch of crap under here. Bug net, duct tape. There's a glove over there. I got some kind of... Oh, there's a big pocket knife. That's a Gerber knife. Well, isn't that cool? That's probably the best thing in this whole trailer right now is this Gerber. Oh, she's pretty sharp too. Nice. And got a lighter. Somebody lost their lighter and their knife. Huh, we got flame. Look at that. We can kill and we can cook. Oh, so that's cool. Look at that Gerber. Look at that for a pile of crap. All that to frame a little bed. I guess that's what those little escape hatch windows are for. Throwing all your junk out. So yeah, I'll sweep that up and have a little better look at things. So I'm looking underneath, and it looks like there's a hump on the floor right here. It looks like there's a brace that goes all the way across. I'll have to do a little bit of an exploratory on that. But the walls definitely need to come back up. They only have... Here, I'll show you. They have no beam underneath the corner. So it's kind of cantilevered. There's that support. And it goes all the way across. That's that hump in the floor. So it looks like it's kind of poochied for about, I would say 2 feet. If I can get something to screw to at 2 feet, I gotta watch out for that tank. The edge of the tank is where that gusset is, and then they have another gusset somewhere over here. Yeah, up along the edge of the tank. And then a fin just past that. So that would be about at 4 feet, I think, probably that other fin going across, all the way across. Wherever I am. Oh yeah. Oh, there I am. Yeah, that one there. That's probably at the 4 foot mark. Wow, look at this for a mess. Wow. It's pretty stinky. So there's a layer of 1/4 inch underlay, or Luan as they call it, down in here. And under every layer is just mold. So I'm thinking I'll probably go right out to that wheel well and just put a nice big chunk or 2 in here. Huh. And what's up with this tank? It looked like somebody welded this tank at one time. It probably blew up because of the cold. Wow, just noticed that. So yeah, deep holes, man, deep, and there's nothing in there but, you know, mouse nests and stuff, so yeah, it is not good. I just wish they would build things a little better. I mean, if you look around in here, it's not all that bad. You know, the appliances were nice, yeah, the cupboard's not bad. There's no reason this couldn't have lasted another 15 years had they not designed it like they did. But it's pretty much indicative of all of them. They just rot. People bang them down the road and they spring leaks and don't take care of them, and then the water gets in. When the water gets in, you're done. Yeah, so I got a little bit of a rig set up here. I'm going to try and take the weight off the back end of this thing while I renovate it. I'm going to take this water tank out, so I disconnected the two lines under here. Right there. There's a little bit of antifreeze coming out, which is a good thing. It had a bit of antifreeze in the line, so I drained it into that bucket. Now I'm going to pry that out from the outside. I guess that's the way it comes out. So I already took the screws out of it. No mice. I'm really surprised. So I took all the screws out of this flange. The ones at the bottom were rotted right off, pretty much. So when we get a new chunk of wood in behind there, then we'll put the new screws in it. So I think this is probably going to just like that. Caulking's pretty old. So that'll pry out of there, and then look at that. That whole panel is going to come off. I already took the bolts out of that leg. So I guess when that's out of there, I'll be able to really get in there and get a chunk of wood in there. So it shouldn't take too long. It's pretty rotten. Everything will just fall apart. So I got the screws out of that panel. Luckily for me, it doesn't go right through. It's a separate piece. So I'm going to yoink that out of there. There we go. Alright. That's all there is to that junk. Look at this. How special is that? Oh my god. So, feels like, yeah, there's just a big block of rotten crap here. Pardon me. It must be almost lunchtime. Yeah, so that's a 2x3. But there's maybe a couple of them. 1, 2. I guess the best way to do it is just pry it all out of there. Wow. No wonder people just throw these things in the garbage. What a shame. Look at that. All the way up to the wheel well. But at least it stops at the wheel well. I mean, the wall itself isn't too bad, except for the plate down here at this end. You know, I can deal with that. Ah, look at that. So it's a couple of 2x3s, which are 1.5 by 2 1/4 by the look of it. Big bolt that goes down to that fin. See, I was just hoping to lock onto that fin with a 4x4. Look at that, eh? All mousy and nice in there. I haven't seen any more mice after the one I caught. Wow. I'm just going to have to get the Sawzall out now maybe and cut away the rest of this schmutz. Or just pull it out by hand. Wow. Rotten, rotten, rotten. All that wet insulation in there too. So I guess the next step is to cut that plywood back on the inside. I've got the roof supported, so I don't think it's going to cave in on me, but okay, I'm going to clean all this out real nice. Cut that plywood back. I'm going to have to cut the plate off here. You know, I've probably only got a couple gimpy nails in it, but Everything's just wet, wet, wet. They got a little layer of spongy cardboardous stuff right here. I'll replace that with a real panel and have to waterproof this thing after. What a mess. Good grief. Well, there's another, I think there's another fin here. I'm hoping that'll get me something to anchor to, and I'll be able to do that cantilever one way or the other. Wow, what a can of worms, eh? I might end up replacing the whole damn thing here if I don't stop soon. All the wheel wells all rotted. Look at all that crap in there. Just goes on and on. Look at that. Right over to the next one. So I imagine I'm going to be honking that whole 4x8 sheet out, reframing it with something, and then put the sheet back in. Just a whole new sheet. That'd be the way to do that. Good grief, what a job. What do I get myself into? So yeah, new plan, total new plan. Like, look at this huge cantilever they've got. There's nothing in here. It was a couple of little wee 2x3s on their edge, and when they gave way, there's nothing in that corner anymore. I mean, there's nothing supporting it. This fin doesn't come out far enough. And then there's, the better part of 10 inches here where it's floating in the air. But other than extending that fin with metal, the only thing I can think of is to use, like I say, a wide 2x8 and a 1-inch piece on top to give us the 2 3/8. Then the plywood will carry through here, and I'll have to put a plate back under these walls. I cut away everything that was rotten, so basically that's a third of the bedroom. Pretty much. I went 3x6 feet because I had a chunk of 3/4 inch plywood that they made the bed out of, so I'm going to reuse that. I'm just going to lay wide boards down and then go across them with strapping after the other direction. Well, this thing looks a whole lot better in the light of day. Got all my pieces ready to screw in here now. I'm going to start with one at the back. And so anyway, I'm going to put these ones in. And then I have a plate to go in between. And then from there, there's 2 more so-called joists to put in the middle after. And that should give me a good strong base. That looks pretty good. That's about all the framing I need. I got 3/4 inch plywood going on there. I don't think I need to put anything else in there for support. Okay. There we go. Got that chunk of floor down. Beauty. I gutted this yesterday and cut a bunch of pieces, and now that it's daylight I'm putting it all together. So basically just did the same thing as the other side. Big 2x8 on the outside plate, and ran everything as far as I could and attached it to something solid. So anyway, I got a couple more pieces of strapping to put across, and then I guess I'm ready for plywood. Here, we got her all cleaned up, screwed on, and I even managed to raise that wall. I put a little bit of distance between the framework and the bottom of the wall, and all it is just a little piece of 2x2, and I split that in half. So when I put the sheet in, I'm going to start tapping it in, and that little block will go to the outside, and the tin is already loose on the outside, so it should just drop right out once it's in place. So I think I'm almost ready to go on that. The only thing I have to do is make a little clearance cut for that wire in the plywood. And it should go in nice and square and hopefully not too much problem. Wow, it looks really good. So I'm going to put a few screws in that and cut the last piece of plywood and get this plywood done for the day. That looks pretty good. Got everything all patched in. I got to throw some 3-inch screws in it now. I'll put some screws in, burn the old screw gun battery down, and bring it back charged. So probably tomorrow when I come back, I'll build that bottom plate, rebuild that wall, and bump that other one up in the air and put a plate under it. It's a nice day today. It's like December 2nd. Alright, so there's my little plate. I screwed it down already. So now that the jack's done, I'll just tap these back out where they need to go. Put a screw in them, and then that'll be good. So I'll secure that, get that little mess done, and then I'll move on to the back panel. There we go. Got that all mucked out. Took a long time. I had lots of staples and screws to cut off and just general crap to deal with. It was all black, so I cut everything back to good wood. I'm just going to scab a chunk in here. It's kind of a funny looking thing. I'm missing a block down there in the corner, so I'm just going to make a little extra tail on there. This little block will go in that rotten space. And then I'll just screw that into the good part of the stud. Here's our little doorway in here. So I think the only way I can get this in there is to just stuff it in through the end. And it should go. Just go straight across the room with it. And then here's the tricky part. There we go. I got that piece in. I'm just going to bring it up tight, screw it in there from the outside. There you go. There's where my little splice is. Screw it all together. That little block looked like it sort of went. May have to take a little adjustment slice out of there. But other than that, I think that will do. Next is that upper portion. There's a little bit of replacing to do in that too, so I hope that's where it ends. So I went ahead and buttoned it all up. Once that back wall went in, it came along pretty good. But everything pretty much where it was. Yeah, a lot better than it was. I mean, everything's pretty much back where it was when it was new. So yeah, I'm calling that a win. I didn't have enough screws to put in that water heater, so I'm going to leave that for today. I got to get a little bit of caulking to put around some of these things. And in behind this fender, never seen anything so ridiculous. It just drips. There's no kind of lap over top from under the siding over that plastic wheel well. So all the water just pours right in. I can't believe it. So I'm going to finish taking that damn plastic skirt off, and I'll put a little drip cap in there. Some kind of a union between those two joints there. So that's hideous. That's just wrong. So yeah, buyer beware. When you buy one of these, be aware they're not very good.